Okay guys, sun beaming off the camera, off my phone. Sometimes the tarot cards can give you a message that you want to hear, but it's not the truth. Meaning, you might ask a question about, should I stay with this person, or should I... Like for me, I asked, would I get a six-figure income as soon as I finished doing my cybersecurity study? And the first 4 or 5 times I asked them that was through, yes or no reading online. And each time the answer was no. There's going to be a lot of persistence and stuff. And then you search up online and you see most of them want you to have 5 years work experience as well as the qualification. But there was like the 6th and 7th time that I asked, they said yes on the yes or no. And every time I searched it up, I'd always put search filters on TikTok and put unwatched, meaning at the very least I haven't watched them on this phone. Because if you lose your phone, or if you get a new phone, you can re-access the account through your email. So if you put unwatched, then the stuff you might have seen whilst you had this phone might show up, or will show up probably. Because they must be popular or something, I don't know, but it's not deemed as unwatched anymore. But I've had this phone for over a year now. I got it a few months before me and my previous ex broke up a year ago. Well, here's the thing. Yeah, and then I did my own personal polls. I did the same thing. The first 4 or 5 times was saying no. Because you search up the meaning of the cards and all this type of stuff. And the next couple of times, it would say, oh yes. But it's like this, it's like, okay, so you asked me a question 4 or 5 times, and 4 or 5 times I gave you an honest answer, and then not only that, but half the time, not only did you get a yes or no, but you got an explanation as to why you shouldn't. And each time you got the explanation, which was about 3 times, it was always the same. And yet you still kept asking the question. So it's like saying, okay, you obviously want to delude yourself or deceive yourself, or okay, or maybe you think that you have power over fate or destiny, or you have power over what the universe or what God has for you, or you think that you have power in influencing what others do, right? Not so much me with the last one, but okay, God, I'll step out in faith and keep asking, because that's not the answer I wanted at the time. I'm glad about the answer now, because now I see a bunch of 6-figure vacancies for physical security if you have 3 years experience or 4 years experience. That's why I'd love to stay in physical security, because I've got 2.5 years experience paid, and then I got the volunteer experience. That was like certain years I was doing this, certain years I wasn't. but it was paid experience being a support person. Okay, because sometimes I was the preacher at the church services in prison church services, and sometimes I was the support person. Sometimes we had a prison officer in there, as well as me, as well as the preacher. But sometimes it was just me and the preacher. And it was like, so there was there, and I used to be what they call the welcoming committee, which means, you welcome people and you give them pamphlets and stuff at church services. But, if you see people getting rowdy and starting to play up and stuff and get aggressive, it's either help them to, it's not like, thoughtful, as in like they don't agree and they're getting frustrated and, all of a sudden they have some level of understanding, all this type of thing. No, it's just like being pricks, And then we would just be one or two of us, get a hold of a couple more of the what they could call the welcome team, or the welcoming committee. Two different time periods there, but same thing, and calm the person down, or keep an eye on him, or if need be, remove them from the service. So that's my volunteer experience and my paid experience, Okay, guys, let's hop down here. This bottle, I got this in one hand with my charger, and I got this bottle in another hand. Look at that. I've done this a number of times before, but it's looking a bit more moist than previous times, but I have still done it when it's this moist, but still, So we're getting, we're pretty much, we're getting towards winter, because rugby and rugby league used to be winter sports. Now they still are, but professionally speaking, they got Super Rugby, which goes for 4 months, because there's 14 games for each team, and then so that's 16 rounds, and then you have the 3 playoff weeks. So actually that's nearing on 5 months, and then you got the All Blacks in Mitre 10 Cup going on at the same time. Often the All Blacks are back for the Mitre 10 Cup playoffs though, but half the time they're not. But when you're playing like unprofessionally, it's winter, and they've just started the unprofessional season, like the Avalon Wolves and stuff. Turns out they've only won 5 games in 3 years. Well, that's news to me. That's what someone told me. It's one of the old guys that was there. So yeah, it could be like, okay, well, you got to learn a lesson about these things as to why you keep asking the question when we're already giving you a clear answer about 4 or 5 times, and 3 times we gave you a clear explanation as to why, and what could happen and why, what will happen. But here's the thing: you kept asking because you clearly don't like the answer, so you need to learn a lesson. So we'll just say, you're gonna get 6 figures straight away. You don't need any work experience. Your partner's not abusive, or your partner's not using you or whatever. You should stay with her. She's awesome. Imagine someone like Terry Doll Jr. doing getting a person, and then they do 5 20-minute recordings, and the first 20 minutes he's telling them Oh, okay. Well, no.